So for those of us who do not know who are you and what do you do?
I gotta give every name. Some days I'm cherishes Lowe. Some days I'm Big Lowe. Some days I do music. Every day I'm Brandon. Regular person. Yeah, regular person. But cherishes, that's my name. You can call me by either. That's what my name is on social media. A lot of people call me Big Lowe.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Brinkley, Arkansas. A lot of people don't know that, Bucktown. And so I tell everybody I'm from every area code in Arkansas because we from Brinkley, but my mom and daddy was in high school when they had me, and my grandma lived in Little Rock. And so with them being in school and everything, I would always have to go back and forth. And then when I was about, I want to say 5, we moved to Jacksonville, Arkansas. And then when I was 13, right at 14 years old, we moved up here to Northwest Arkansas. So I always tell everybody I'm from every area code in Arkansas.
Tell us about your childhood growing up in Brinkley. Well, you was young at that point, but when you got of age, and you was going out and experiencing things, tell us about your childhood when you started getting out into the city, wherever you were.
I was young, but it was like one of them things. You know how we are. Like, my daddy still lived there, like my grandpas and everything. So weekends, summer breaks, Christmas break, Thanksgiving break, straight to Brinkley. And then if I really get deep into it, we're from Brinkley, but we really from Fargo. And I spent a lot of time in Cotton Plant also. And so growing up, like, childhood was way different than the teenage life in Northwest Arkansas. We're a little bougie in Northwest Arkansas, but childhood is we gotta go to the woods to chop them trees down to put in grandma heater. Yeah, we gotta go get the logs to go put in the heater in the middle of the house and everything. Riding 4-wheelers, going fishing, hunting, all of that. That's the part that I keep that side tucked in. I kind of miss it. I wish I would have. A lot of days I wish I would have grew up more around my daddy in my teenage years. So that element of life I'll be a lot more involved in that element of life and everything. So yeah.
At what age did you start creating music, and when did you start taking it seriously?
When I was, let me see. I really want to say since the age of understanding, because, you know, having a young mama and my mama being from like Ford City in that area, you know, Memphis was close. So Juicy J, like 3-6 Mafia and all of them was coming up, and she was telling how they would sell the tapes and stuff out the trunk of their car. And so mama used to always play my daddy too. I used to listen to all the 3-6 Mafia, Master P. My mama always say I was 2 years old. Where is the bud? Where is the bud? And so when I want to say I was in middle school, elementary school, around like kindergarten, first grade, shout out to Jamar. This lady that used to keep me, Miss Mary, her son Jamar, he used to rap and everything. They tried to get me to freestyle and I couldn't. So then middle school hit, the Wild and Out thing happened, and we started like freestyling, joking back and forth and everything. So that's when I realized, like, I kind of freestyle. And when I got to high school, that's the first time I rapped, 11th grade. I rapped in a talent show and I was good. Senior year I did it, and then Coach Stamps, he coached at Fayetteville. He used to be the head coach at Springdale in basketball. He told me, like, he's like, make a song for me. So 2014, I made a Bulldog song, and when it blew up, that's when I actually started taking music serious. 2014, so I say I was right at 2021.
You weren't in any groups, were you? You just kept solo?
When I first started, like, TJ heard me freestyle or whatever, TJ Andrews, and then he had Flow Gang. And when we was in school, everybody know TJ was like the leader. He 2 years old, so we sophomores, they sing. TJ was like the leader. And then when it came to my age group, I was the one that, you know, talked to everybody and stuff. So he was like, man, I'm in this group, Flow Gang. Come on, man, you come rap with me. So I had did that when I was in, like, I think 11th grade. Yeah. Summer going to like my senior year and everything. But solo, it's been interesting because I made the Bulldog song at that time. It wasn't a lot of people doing music, and, you know, you one of the originators of the scene. Like, a lot of people didn't know that. Like, a lot of people, because this is in middle school, like, because of who my cousin was and everything, I knew Bolo and everybody when I'm in middle school before I ever even knew about Northwest Arkansas. So me coming up here and seeing that, I like the solo part. I took like that blueprint, and it was like I was the one that was known for the school spirit and stuff like that. Plus I could relate because I grew up in every class of life. I was from all over Arkansas. And so solo part, I got to a point where it's like at my age, it wasn't nobody really doing it. And so it's like, if you the best at something in your generation or whatever, you know, it kind of hard when it ain't no. And then so like I started doing numbers. Solo was cool. I made it to like meetings. I had like been to Rap A Lot studios and everything. It's just like learning the business side of it. Came home, but in my solo, I could really be on right now. I held myself back. I won't say I was worried about the wrong things at the time it seemed right, but I put a lot more focus into building and putting something into this over here when you're supposed to balance it out and make sure you keep this going, because when this not here and this not here anymore, you look back and it's like, oh, I could have did this, I could have did that, and it's like now it's like, oh, I wasted my 20s. Then I don't want to look at it as a waste, because then on the same hand I can say, you know what, I wasn't even ready at that time. I'm way more mature than I was. So I can handle it a lot better now.
What kind of adversity did you face in your upbringing?
Ooh. Most people think it'll start with my mama having me at 15, but that lady the GOAT. But I say my 8th grade year. My 8th grade year, I had, my grandpa was like my daddy. So my 8th grade year was, my grandpa died, and I want to say 3 weeks after my grandpa died, my 2-year-old little cousin was killed by his mama's boyfriend. I want to say like 3 months after that, my cousin Pam, that's me and her daughter best friends, my favorite cousin, she died in a car accident. And so 8th grade, that happened. When I graduated high school, my homeboy AJ, he drowned not too long after I graduated high school. 2015, my homeboy Peasy, he was like my little bro. He got stabbed at a party. He passed. A few months after that, my little bro Kyler, he wore Peasy numbers as a tribute. The first game went off. He was breaking all the records at Springdale and everything. He passed in a car accident the next day after the game, homecoming weekend. So it's been a lot. But the thing I do is I ain't necessarily I'm 30 now, and I'm just now processing the grief, because when stuff went on, I never really had time to process the grief because I always got in the big bro mode and be there for everybody else and stuff. But music is what helped, because I make tribute songs and everything. So like music, that's why like I never did music to like I want to be this. It was just one of those things. I started doing it. Now I know how to put it in perspective and everything. That's why a lot of times people are sad. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Speaking of music, how do you feel about the local rap and hip hop scene? Like, what do you like about it, and what do you not like about it?
What I like about it is the potential, because we live in a safe area. What I don't like about it is when people try to promote the area is unsafe, because now you lying and you going into a lane to where to the naked eye it'll seem cool, but when you start digging into it, it's like that story don't hold up, that persona don't hold up. So in this area, you can just rap in our culture, because there's predominantly white people here. They love our culture. You can say they don't love us, or they love our culture, everything about it. So they want to be involved in our culture. They want to promote this. They want to do this. But you also have to help them and not put it to where you seem like a menace to society and all that. Why would you want to be a menace to society when you can be, I don't get it. Why would you want to be hated when you can be loved? And that's the biggest thing. And I think another thing we got here is it's a lot of people that want to be that guy. It's a lot of people that want to be in front of that camera, that want to do this, when there's somebody else over here that they know for a fact, like, he's the best at that. He's the most well-rounded. He's the one they're going to accept. And if that person don't come to them and be like, hey, they not gonna go get that person and say, hey, you this, man. Pick it up. I need you. See, I'm that person. That's like right now. If I got somebody on the side of me, I've been doing music all this time, and I see something in them like, okay, this is gonna be better for the man. Whatever lyrics I come up with, you can have. I don't need no recognition. I don't need anything. Because the biggest artist in the game was not brought in by Lil Wayne. He was brought in by somebody that's behind the scenes and that's not in that camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I love I love the potential and where it's going. So, but yeah, that's what I love about it. But what I don't like about it is the false images. That's what I don't.
You know, touching on the culture, you just mentioned it, brought it up. The internet portrays our culture as being like, it's just portrayed so bad in the media. Yeah. Why do you think that is? Do we make it that way, or is it some other type of force that's going on out there that wants to kind of downplay what this culture has to offer for the world, to the world? Is it something like that going on, or are we really sabotaging our own culture out there as far as like how it's portrayed in the media?
I don't want to get off subject, but I feel like it go back to like slavery. I was just having a conversation with my mama, and I told her when I do the math and I think about how if you order something from Africa right now, it might take 4 weeks to get over here. So when I do the math, the technology they didn't have back in the day, and how would these people have been on these ships and in these bad conditions, it would have had to be months at a time, and they step off a boat and they start work. That makes me feel like we were already here. And if we were already here, that means we were the original Native Americans and all of that. So if we were the original Native Americans, that means that somebody at some point had to sell us out to take something in return. And I think that's what it is when it comes to our culture. We forget. I love Martin Luther King as the speaker. I love Martin Luther King as what he was. But at the same time, as I got older and I started to think, I didn't agree with Martin Luther King's dream. Because I felt like Martin Luther King was having a dream to go be a white boy. When we had our own neighborhoods, we had our own schools, we have our own culture. They want to dance like us. They want to sound like us. They want to look like us. They want to cook like us. They didn't have the skin and all of that to sit in the fields and take that hot burning sun and everything. So he had a dream to go be over there when we should have just did our own thing. And if they want to integrate over here into our side, then come on. So I think it's a history thing. A lot of people don't understand the power that they have. That's why I love Lil Durk so much, because you can tell Lil Durk is one of those artists. His environment was his environment, but the elevation of where he trying to go, you can tell he trying to like turn a leaf and everything. I look at stuff like that. So I think that's what it is. They try to downplay our culture, but it take things like this. Like when I'm talking to my homeboy, I can easily get in their shit. I can talk like this right here and all of that. But why would I do that if I can easily talk like this and speak articulate and pronounce my words? And it got to start with that part. We was born smart. We got God in our bodies and stuff like that. So that's what it is. I think we sell out sometimes. We just be ourselves and be what God naturally put in you to be you as a black person.
The internet has made it so easy to do everything. I mean, you can connect with people. It's easy to connect with people. It's easy to sell things. It's easy to get in beefs as well, have disagreements with people. Because you can make a post or you can make a caption and it can be about nobody. But somebody will read it and they'll look at him like, man, I think he's talking about me, bro. Yeah. How do you deal with negativity, being such a well-liked and popular person as you are? How do you deal with negativity?
If you feel like something I am posting is about you, get your life together. That's simply all it is to it. That's some self-guilt. That's self-esteem issues. Go pray. Because me, the way I deal with it, I notice something. I could be sitting next to a person and we could follow the same people on social media, and they could be like, man, you see what such and such saying? They going crazy. I'm strolling on my time. It's like, I don't see it. I never got into the negative part of social media. Like, if I get in there, I say this because we being truthful. If I ever had an issue on the internet, it's because I'm saying something about my ex. And I even got to do that, because you don't really, it comes time, you don't even really care. You just like, oh, put this out here. It is. So, but when it comes to like the negative part, I never get on social media to be negative. The internet, 'cause I see the internet different. Like, if you look at my YouTube search history, you're going to see politics, you're going to see science, you're going to see sports, you're going to see music, you're going to see something about teaching, you're going to see something about psychology. I get on the internet and I learn every day. That's how I do. Every day is a college class for me because of the internet. So I love it. The negative side of it, it don't even really exist to me.
The reason for a lot of that negativity, it comes from mental and physical abuse.
Yeah.
And we all then went through that to some kind of degree. How did you deal with it in your past or your present even? How did you deal with it, and how were you able to manage it?
Managing, I had a lot of help. I got a support system. My mama, mental health and stuff, both sides of my family, it runs in my family, whether anyone wants to admit it or not. We know it. But my mama saw something in me when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and she was like, no, he's going to get. So I always had this support system and everything, because my mama didn't wait around for things to happen. No, she know how she is in family, so I'm going to get on this ahead of time. And I'm actually diagnosed like bipolar, like manic depression and everything. And when I was about 15 years old, I ain't like the way I was feeling. And the ADHD medicine was making me sick. So I started researching stuff a lot. And I kept telling them like, hey, I think I have bipolar disorder. I have bipolar disorder. And they wouldn't diagnose me with it. When I turned 21, they finally actually diagnosed me with exactly what I was telling them I had the entire time. So music, I deal with it that way. I like to go on long drives and everything, but if you think you're going to run from the mental part, that's when you mess up. It's never going to go away. It's always going to be in the back of your head. So you have to adapt to that. It's like if you playing a sport, you the best player on the team, but you don't like your coach. You in the middle of the season. You going to quit the team? No, coach going to be there. You're going to have to learn how to cope. It's like if I'm going through something and I might not want to leave the house this day. The day I don't want to leave the house, okay, get up and at least walk outside to your car and go get a drink from the gas station. It's something there, but go get a drink from the gas station. Creating routines and everything. It's like me now, my routine, the smallest thing, every day I get up, I go to the gas station and buy some vitamin water. And my homeboy's like, why don't you get it in bulk from? Nah, because I'm creating a routine slowly. That's what it is. Creating a routine.
How do you feel about the abuse of substances that a lot of artists are involved with these days in order to make music or just to portray an image in music? They do a lot of drugs. They're doing a lot of pills these days. And, who knows what effects is having on them in their music. I think that a lot of artists think that, them doing drugs and being in this euphoria state, it makes the music better. How do you feel about that? And do you think it makes the music better, or is it like, or if it is making the music better at the same time, is it like, destroying their bodies? You know what I'm saying?
I feel like it's one of those, like, if y'all think I get off subject, I like to use analogies. Like, when it comes to sports, that person might have a pain pill addiction. They start taking those pain pills because they might have had an injury and they got hurt. So when it was time to wean themselves off of it, what I think it was, these artists back in the day and everything, they were hurting. They were slaving. They were moving around so much. They needed something to, bad deals. They was trying to cope with their pain. And they didn't have the knowledge of these things like we do, like we do now. So it wasn't that bad to them and it became bad. So now it's a cycle to the point now you have rappers that portray it. Like Future said one day, I don't pop pills, I just rap about it. So now you got the generation of the idolizers. We used to, in our group, we are unique situations because we got to actually experience the 90s. Then we get to experience every part of technology too. Got to grow up in that part too. And so we only had a split second to idolize something. We got to turn on Rap City. We got to go to school. We got to turn on Rap City. We got to 106 and Park come on once a day. This video has to come on TV. We might see this video once a day. And now they can just turn on it. They can just turn on YouTube and look at that. And instead of them say, oh, that's nice songs, I'm going to do that. I'm going to rap about that to the part they do it. But, man, this generation really just hurt. That's what it is. These folks hurt.
What's your relationship with like money, like managing money, financial literacy and all of that? Like, do you have any advice for people who are struggling with budgeting and just really saving up a nest egg and utilizing that money as a tool instead of just like blowing it on whatever? How do you feel about that?
I've been horrible with money in my life. And when I sit back and I think about it in my adult life, actually, I've seen a lot of it. And it's okay to not have fun. People got to understand that. You're going to have to step back sometime. You might have to downgrade your living situation. Get out that house and go to that apartment. You might have to not buy no clothes for a year and wear the same thing and not worry about anybody talking about you. Because we got this perception in life that the people spending money has more money than the people that's saving the money. You know what I'm saying? And so budgeting is whatever's best for self. You downgrade the lifestyle because it's cool to not have fun for a year and have fun for 5 years. You get what I'm saying? Because you can go out here, let's say you get $5,000. Oh, I'm going on a trip this weekend. You going on that trip. You spend $2,500 on that trip. You come back home, your light bill $150. Your gas bill $90. You got to feed them kids. You got to pay that car note. You got to pay that insurance. Save it up. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. However you save it up, save it up. My mama used to say, Mama, you always acting cheap. I know you got some money. She used to say, what if you break a leg tomorrow? My mama beautiful. My mama healthy. In 2014, my mama hadn't ever been sick before. My mama fell out and had a seizure in 2014. So just like that now, it went from this, now it's a whole lot of doctor bills. My grandma is very well off. My grandma's also had cancer multiple times. Doctor bills and stuff like that. So I look at the way my mama saved and saved and say, she's so cheap now. She's so cheap now. Now my mama 45 and she bought that house that she want. She got that house that she want. You know? So I'm looking at it like, you know what? Maybe it's okay to step back. And that's what I did basically this whole year. I took a step back from all material. I took a step back from just volunteering to give people things. That's another thing. You got to learn how to say no. Even when it hurt.
Bro, how do you feel about us as a human race? Like, do you think that we're here to serve a purpose? And if so, like, do we get distracted from that purpose too much in order to like fulfill it? You know, a lot of people, you know, they walking around and they feeling like they don't really know why they here on earth. You know what I'm saying? They really don't know their purpose here, like what they supposed to be doing to better the human experience here. You know, that's life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an experience that we live in, and like, you know, people feel like they're supposed to be here and they're supposed to contribute to that, to the happiness part of that experience. Like how do you feel about that?
I feel like the human race overall is the most beautiful thing. And God, the creator, whatever you believe in, however, what form you believe in it, he put this thing in us to where we can just do anything. If you having a problem figuring out your purpose in life and how you contribute in life, just go to the grocery store and put a smile on your face and smile and speak to someone. That's the biggest thing with humans. We don't want to be kind. We feel like it's weird when somebody talk too much. Somebody told me I talked too much one day. I said, did you ever learn anything in the classroom when the teacher was quiet? When I go to the store, people around, if someone's with me, say, man, fix your face. Hey, how you doing? That person could have been having a bad day. They could have. And that's the biggest thing. We have to learn that we have the power to change that's why with politics, I don't care to hate Donald Trump. I don't care that he's never been in a situation where he had to go sit in grandma's house. He had to go sit at auntie house. He'll love it if he there. I can't hate anybody that I don't know. This America, we have the ability to create our own illusion. Everything, no matter who's in, taxes can be high, all of that. It's going to happen. It's all about adapting, though, because would we rather have those higher taxes? Or would we rather be over there living off a grain of rice? So you just got to pick your battles, and you got to understand. Like, I don't like saying that somebody could be going through something worse than you, because everybody's situation. I tell them you can't really say who's going through a worse situation, because I told one of my friends one day, I said, man, out of all the death I've experienced, my breakup hurt worse than that. And he was like, man, you tripping. How could you say that? Who are you to tell me how I felt? That's the thing, human. We just got to be more kind. If we more kind to people, now it takes the ego out of a lot of things. And that's the biggest things of human. It's ego. Whatever story you believe in, they say the devil used to be an angel. Ego. Adam wanted ego. So now we living in a time where women are moving like men used to, or moving like men, but women don't have the nature that the men have. So now that they moving like the men, it's offsetting the whole generation. It's making the whole world change, because y'all were meant to be nurturers. The men are more emotional because the girl, we meant to lead, but we can't lead if we depressed and stuff like that, So the only thing about that is like how they say men sharpen men is iron sharpen iron. You got to go talk to other men and have these conversations, because we feeling it like now. And that's the biggest thing, being kind and just actually speaking to somebody and learning something. It's okay, like, because we're nothing. We're nothing. A lot of people got this ego. I am this, I am. If the ocean wanted to rise right now and take over, it could happen. If the sun wanted to stop shining, we would freeze. If the earth stopped spinning, it would throw us so far we wouldn't live. If a volcano wanted to erupt, if Yellowstone wanted to erupt, there's nothing we can do about it. So that's when we have to really learn, like, to humble ourselves, like, we're really nothing as humans, and then we'll be a lot more kind, and it'll delete out the ego part.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Like what kind of legacy do you want to leave?
In the next 10 years, I'll probably be a school teacher. Honestly, I'll be a school teacher. That was always my plan. No matter how much money I got, no matter what I did, I'll come back and be a school teacher at my old school. Whether it's my old junior high or my old high school. And then recently, somebody at the junior high, he's a black man, he's a principal, he looked me in my eyes and said, I'll hire you. I want you to come tattooed, showing, and everything. And I want my legacy to be as the person who sparked the culture. See, I don't have this desire to go be the most famous person in the world. I don't have the desire to be the most known locally. I get my desire when I see these kids calling it Eastdale, when I hear people call it Eastdale, and now it's factored into the tradition. I never cared what anybody said about me. When I graduated, they was like, he's stuck in high school. Why he always at the games? Now that's my career. Now I'm involved in all other things. So it was like, you go do what you do and you let me do what I do. Because when I was in high school, shout out to Papa Hutch. It's one of my homeboy class. It's one of my classmates, his grandpa and his daddy, mama, everybody went to Springdale. Papa Hutch, I don't want to say his age, but he an older dude. When we was in high school, me and my homeboy was at the football field one day. It was practice and early in the morning, and Papa Hutch in the stands. And I looked at my homeboy. I said, hey, bro, when I'm Papa Hutch age, I'm going to be just like that. I'm going to still be right here. I'm going to still be right here. And so I just want my legacy to be somebody. I put a smile on everybody's face that I came across. That's simple.
What advice do you have for upcoming musicians, like people out there who are kind of struggling with their motivation to even make music a career? You know, a lot of people don't think that they can make it. You know, what do you have to say about those individuals or to those individuals?
You can do whatever, but at some point you're going to have to look at your surroundings and you're going to have to adapt to your surroundings. I've never cried and said I never had the support that I never did that, because instead of me going my first songs and stuff, I rap about certain things. Bro, you're not in Little Rock no more. You're not in Jacksonville anymore. What's your identity here? Who are you now? And I made the Bulldog song, and it created something that's still going on to this day. So don't be scared to be yourself when you think it's corny and all of that. And another thing is, when you take advice from people, well, you can take advice from anybody. Any man can provide knowledge. But don't try to go be something you see somebody else. You as a man, you gotta read into things. Okay, this person do this. How are they doing this? Or why is everything that they do end up being something new later on and stuff like that? You gotta look into things. It's like I tell a person right now, if you're a person that I see have different friend group all the time, naturally I'm gonna be distant. I don't want to be around you. I still got the same friends from preschool. And when I moved here, I still got the same friends from when I moved here. Every once in a while, somebody new might come along and stuff like that. But that's the biggest thing with music. Just be yourself and be smart. Keep your eyes open, because it's not all the way about the music. You better do it for the love. But if you want to make it, it's a whole other element. It's a whole other ball game. And you're going to come in some rooms where, let's say Arkansas, this area, right? In this situation I was in, you can make it to the major label, but there's a whole process you're going to have to go through, because this person over here in Atlanta made this. There's more people. This person over here in New York. If you're a local rapper in New York, you can damn near win a Grammy. If you're a local rapper in Houston, and you see how much money these Texas rappers got, and they not even really mainstream, we in Arkansas. So you're going to have to go through the process of, once you get to that major label, people think, why you ain't signed this? Because that's when the work starts. You're going to have to pick up. You're going to have to move around. You're going to have to go to this. Nobody wants to do it, especially in Northwest Arkansas. It's not about the shows. It's about the going to this community event, going to this fundraiser, showing your face. Be a brand. Focus more on your brand. Do the music for the love. Build your brand for the business. That's the best advice I can give.
If people want to get in contact with you, how would they?
Instagram, Kentrez Lowe. Facebook, Kentrez Lowe. Yeah, that's really Snap. I got Snap. It's Big Low, but man, Snap tricky, bro. I think Snap messed the world up, bro. So I try not to look at Snap stories and everything. Snap get you in trouble, bro. So really, Instagram, Facebook, anything, and you'll see me. What Prime say, ain't hard to find.